And we're live with Carrie Ann.
Bloody hell.
What's your last name? Von Diest.
I don't think anyone knows anymore.
Mills.
No, you
I
don't
asked
know.
you
I'm not
this the
sure
other
if I know.
day. What did you change it?
No.
Oh, okay.
What is changing it? I'm not even sure these days.
Are you not going to change it?
I don't know. That's a hard question.
Oh, straight into the hard questions.
We're about 1 year married, and I'm not unsure
If you want
how we're
to.
doing that. I do like Von Mills. It's definitely got a ring to it.
Can you do that?
Should I share my last name on the podcast? Anyway.
I mean, only if you don't want to be. If you want to be completely anonymous, probably don't.
Now.
Just don't release your date of birth and your driver's license
Okay.
number, and you should be okay.
Got it.
Can you change your name to half and half?
No, it would. That
You would
also-
have to do.
I have to do the kids as well. It would be very.
Yeah.
We've thought about it, but no.
And is it hard to change your name?
I think it is. That's why I haven't done it. I'm looking at
You
You have to
Candace,
talk
you
in the
haven't looked
microphone
into
more.
it,
I can
sorry.
hardly hear you.
Yeah, no. I think it's hard. You have to go down to the transport office. You have to do all these things and change your name on all of your documents
Yeah.
to then be that surname. And
I
I don't
think-
even know how to update all of those things.
I think when you get married, you should just be able to submit your wedding certificate into one website, and then
Yes.
it just
does
disperses
everything.
to everything.
That's what
Your
I thought
next business
happened.
idea.
Because it took.
Go.
I don't want to do admin. I don't want admin because it took me years. To
That's what I
change
think.
everything.
That's what I thought happened. So
I
at
feel like
the
I'm in a
moment,
tennis game. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Gonna
You're
sore
the
neck.
umpire.
I, at the moment, am using both names, probably quite illegally, but when I need to use Mills, I'll use Mills, and when I need to use Von Diest, I use Von Diest.
I am
Fair.
close to 14 years into this whole married thing, and I'm still Hansford on the voting.
Are you?
On the
That's
what's
the
it
one you
called? The
haven't changed.
electoral
Ah.
roll. Is that illegal?
I have no idea.
Oh well.
Who knows?
She's still made it on that one.
Mm.
Anyway, what's the question of the day today?
Question of the day today is: what is your favorite insult?
I don't really have a favorite. I think it's
Mm.
very like incident subjective.
dependent,
It's very
yeah.
dependent on the
Mm.
incident that's happening. But my newest one is calling people a dildo.
Mm.
And I've accidentally called Callie a dildo a few times. She hasn't asked what it
Yeah, I
is.
was going to say, that was my follow-up question.
Thank God. But every time I do it, Jordan's like, I'm like, oh. But yeah, I call people a dildo. It's just very fitting when someone does something silly. You fucking dildo. That's my new
I
one.
don't think it rolls off the tongue for me, but
What's
okay.
yours?
Oh, I think I'd just be like, you're an a-hole or something. I don't know.
You can
Yeah.
say
You're
it.
allowed to swear, or would you
Well, I
actually
think
say
I'd
a-hole?
that, yeah.
Oh. You're not going to do well on here.
No, sorry.
This isn't going to go well.
And I
for
do
you.
have to be, like, when we're driving and listening to the podcast, at times I have to be like, I hope the kids aren't listening
Yeah.
right now because there's some F-bombs being dropped, but that's okay.
I know what it
Part of
is,
their
right?
education. I think so.
Yeah.
They
We
do
just,
now.
we just learn, like, I don't believe in not swearing around children.
Yeah.
They have to learn that it's just a no-no.
Completely agree.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just a little bit loud. I don't mind just a good give them the finger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Do you do that to your kids often?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd always
yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
I drop to
Anybody.
one knee and give her the finger behind her back when Jordo's watching. Makes me feel better.
It would make me feel
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
I sometimes do it to Josh if he's annoying, like, and he like turns around. Like,
Do you?
yeah.
That's fun.
And then one time he caught me in the mirror, in the like glass door. He's like, I can see that.
That's so good. It's like a real little kid thing to
Yeah.
do.
Like,
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the action makes you feel
Yeah.
like you're doing something.
He's like
Yeah.
getting it
I like
out.
to- yeah.
Yeah.
It's an outlet.
I like it. What's yours?
I think dickhead is probably my most used.
Mm-hmm.
It's Old Faithful.
Solid.
Yeah.
Means what it is. Like, you
Yeah.
just fucking dickhead.
You're a dickhead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect that.
What's your? Oh, you don't have a microphone today, Becky.
You're in the naughty corner, aren't you? What did you do? What did you do?
Becky didn't bring her camera. Now she's sulking in the corner.
Filming on her Apple iPhone.
I quite like a wanker.
She says wank. Yeah, you do say wanker, and you say it nicely as well.
Do you say bloody wanker? You bloody wanker.
Maybe, probably.
I think I would say it like that if I said wanker a lot.
Arsehole's also good.
Arsehole.
I never
You've
call
got
anyone
a
an
whole
asshole. I don't
I
reckon.
think I do.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I like arsehole too.
Mm.
I like most swear words.
Yeah, they just work. Just like feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's passion.
Mm.
Comes out with passion. But we're not here to talk about swear words, are we? We're here to talk about Carrie-Anne von Mills-Dist.
Whatever my name
Whatever
is.
your
We're
last
not
name
sure.
is.
And you just called me my full name, which I don't think you've ever said Carrie-Anne before. Very early
No.
on, you said your name is not Carrie-Anne, you were Kez.
Yes. I don't,
Probably.
yeah.
Do people call you Carrie-Anne?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
3 syllables.
They do.
I don't work well with three syllables.
Yeah, you get one when you come to this gym. Maybe
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2.
That was
But then if you are 1, sometimes I'll extend it to 3.
Yeah.
Yep. Just got to keep things fresh. Yeah, that was the first day I met you. Because I've said this to you before, you were the first one that I hadn't met for a long time when you stared training here. And it made me so
that's right, because you trained at night
uncomfortable.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, the owner's never here.
Yeah.
She just never came.
This bitch is never here.
Who this
So how
person
long
is.
you been here for?
I joined at the beginning of 2019.
19.
Yeah, so you would have had, Kelly was probably quite little, and I would train late in the afternoon, so I was 5:30, maybe the one earlier than that, whatever it was, over the other side and
Yeah.
over there.
How long? But you had done CrossFit previous to.
Yep.
Here.
I worked out, I had a look back, and I must have joined my first CrossFit gym either end of 2014 or early 2015, because I did the 2015 Open.
Nice.
I haven't done all 10 since. Had a few years off here and there, but yeah, I've got
so
scores for 15.1, etc., which is really cool.
That's cool. So how old were you when you started? What were you? 2014, 15?
Oh gosh, here we go. The maths questions. I hadn't prepared for
23.
maths. Yeah, and I'm 35 now.
As of yesterday, happy
Yeah,
birthday.
Thank you. So it's a lot of CrossFit, but I did have a little bit of time off in there, and then there's babies and things like that. But it's nice to look back and to see how long you have been around the sport for. I think I hadn't realised that, or I hadn't thought about that for some time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a long time. And you saw, I would say it was from 14 to 18, it was different. It was like, there was like I shouldn't say the words different. There was like there was a certain type of person drawn to it.
Mm-hmm.
After 18, I would suggest that it became a lot more
Yeah.
mainstream and open to more
Yeah.
regular folk.
Yeah.
Very mainstream for everyone.
Yeah.
It always was for everyone, but not everyone. Everyone was scared of it back then.
When I first joined the CrossFit gym in Gladstone, it was my friendship group, and all of us it was the years of the memes, and CrossFitters always talk about CrossFit, like that was it. So there was a
Like
lot
Fight
of
Club.
a lot of maybe stigma attached to joining, and a girlfriend joined first, and I saw some of the benefits that she was having, and I quickly followed. But it was a bit like, what are you doing? I'm doing CrossFit. And you didn't really talk about it because of what was happening in what was ever then social media. It probably wasn't Instagram, but Facebook in particular. All the memes and you'll hurt yourself and all of those things.
It was like the era of the ripped hands with blood everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Those were
I do have some images of that.
Those were the
Floating
memes
around.
floating around. And
Yes.
it's like, stop!
Yeah.
You're turning people away. But that's what was that, and like all the videos of
And like
fails.
high socks and little shorts.
Many photos of
Yeah,
it.
I
Did
don't
you do the high
remember what
socks?
I don't remember what I wore. I
fucking
don't think
wore
so.
those colourful knee-high socks.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? That was sexy. The tiniest
Oh
of
my god!
shorts.
I've still got a couple of pairs I use as like PJs.
Same.
And when I put them on, I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're so small.
They're so small.
I can't remember what I wore.
They're like
Have a look.
undies.
Yeah.
Becky's like, I know. I saw them. Girls are wearing undies.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll have to look at photos. I do have a few photos from back then, which are pretty cool to look back at as well and see different movements. I was looking at my 2015 Open scores. 15.1B, I think it was a 1 rep clean and jerk. What do you reckon I got?
Oh, in the 40s.
Yeah, 38, something like that.
38.
Yeah,
Nice.
Crazy.
I think I had 88 pounds, whatever that equates to,
Yeah.
just on the 40 or so. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So I think it was nice to see that. Obviously, it wasn't terrible. Like, it didn't, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I actually moved some weight in 2015.
Yeah.
And then I look at, what I can do now. And that's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
very
Do you know
cool.
what your 1RM clean and jerk or the heaviest you've clean and jerked is now?
Might be closer to 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's awesome. So let's start. We kind of already started there, but you started in 13, 14, 15. And you said
Yep,
in
14.
Gladstone.
Yep.
Where did you train? Who did you train with?
I trained at CrossFit Gladstone, or CFG as we would always abbreviate it to, and throw that around a bit. When I first joined, it wasn't owned by the celebrity couple that we now know, but a few months later it did. So Tia Claire Toomey and Shane Orr were coaches at the gym, and then they took over the ownership of the gym. So I was involved in that community early on, and can remember, casually hanging out and dog sitting for Tia and things like that. So, there was a friendship. I don't know if we're still in that category.
Like,
but,
hey, bestie. She'd be like,
yeah, probably. But that's okay. It's been a few years now. So, that was really cool and a great introduction. And I've got some old videos too of what I thought were the big dogs back then throwing down. And I look back at those every now and again, and it's, also really cool to see that those things that I thought I'd never be able to do, I can do some of those things now.
Not to spend a lot of time on Tia, but a question. Did you know then that she would be, like, did she present as super driven, obsessed? Like, was she in it all the time? Was she aggressive? Like, was there like a thing that she had that you couldn't see that anyone else didn't have, but she had it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I don't think there was. I think she was one of us. I can remember sitting down, we would go for GYG on a Tuesday night or something like that after training. And she said one night to a couple of us girls, someone wants me to do more on Instagram, like some, whether it was a sponsor or something like that. She might have been making regionals around this time. And so we got a napkin out and she was like, what do you think, what do people want to see about me? And like, she was just one of us, like, what would I do? I'm like, I want to know what you eat. I want to know what you do. Like, how are you? But she was really humble and didn't appear to be doing anything all that much more than what we were doing, apart from, I suppose, training. She was training.
Yeah.
And then, it was interesting to see over those years just that progression of where they took the sport and her career and all of that.
Yeah.
And there was big moves in there that I wasn't involved in. Obviously, I didn't know much about, but they left Gladstone and went to Brisbane, I think it was. And
Did you leave before they sold?
Oh, I can't remember.
I'm
not sure. I don't think so. I think it might be almost around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then so you moved from Gladstone to here.
A little bit. There was a bit of moving around in that time. I would travel out to some smaller rural towns. That's where work took me. Trained at CrossFit CQ, Central Queensland, so Rockhampton. Trained there for a little bit. And then while I was doing a lot of the more rural work, there was a CrossFit gym, but it had just started like after I'd moved, and I was going to the PCYC gym instead and just doing CrossFit workouts in the PCYC gym there. So there was a little bit of this higgledy-pigglediness for a few years in terms of where I was doing CrossFit, and that's where there's some of the opens I didn't do. And then I was fairly consistently training at CrossFit CQ in Rockhampton before we then moved down here.
And then you moved here for work or always wanted to move here?
Bit of both. Ben's a Sunshine Coast boy, local, more so, than I was. I always had a goal of working at Sunshine Coast Hospital. I thought that was always going to be pretty cool. And
big smoke.
The big smoke.
You better tell people what you do for a job.
Oh, I'm an occupational therapist.
Yeah.
So I think there was always the city lights, but also the beach and the Sunshine Coastness of the appeal to working there. So we made the move down to the coast and said this is where we'd like to settle as such, and then I came here.
Back onto your job.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is an OT number?
Yeah,
Here we
I was
go.
just about to say, do people ask what an OT is often?
I'd say it's getting less regular very early on in my career, and it's getting more popular or more known about now as such. But I think even as OTs,
She doesn't even know. She'll just keep talking
Here we
around
go.
it.
There's always a bit of banter between a physio and an occupational therapist.
So you guys are a bit like...
Yeah, we message about it quite often,
Yeah.
just making fun of each other.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that's just a
Why do
historical
you-
thing between the professions.
Also, like, you guys hate each other?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
That's a strong word.
I hate you,
That's
Carrie
a
Ann.
strong
Ken's just like, no, fuck you, man.
I don't even know at uni because physios and OTs shared the same space, but physios were always higher on the pecking order. Sorry,
Yes,
but
no, they think they are.
we are. And then like the running joke was always like no one knew what OTs did, and so we would they're like always just like doing arts and crafts. Like that's
Is it a newer? Is it? I'm just gonna. Is it just gonna veer off here? Is it a newer profession in terms of that, like the health side of things, like in comparison to physio?
I feel like you need to come along to my week two lecture of
What is
OCC, OCC 101, which I course coordinate here at the university. Week 2 is history week. The history of OT is not a completely new profession. No, I don't know in comparison to physio,
No, I have no
and
idea.
we don't want to go into the deep dark depths of that history, I don't think, but. Certainly the idea of using your hands or occupations as we title them, which is doing something essentially, to help health and wellness and to recover. So we, as a profession, were titled, I think, rehabilitation aides through the World Wars, before we then come up with the title occupational therapist. So supporting returned servicemen to engage in those things that they wanted to do or needed to do, to support them to recover.
So what's the difference between OT and a physio?
I think it depends on where you work. I think it's easier to put it into a scope as well as to your scope of practice in the area that you're working in. But I particularly think about OTs as supporting people to return to those everyday activities that you need to do. So self-care, showering, dressing, all of those functional tasks that we might participate in.
What does the physio do
There's an
then?
overlap there.
I see it like that, but more like we diagnose and treat.
What do OTs
You guys
do?
can't diagnose.
We don't diagnose, no, we don't diagnose. Yeah.
And
there's
then we
certainly overlap.
like diagnose, treat, and then help with return to whatever.
So
but
is there a point where you would refer to them?
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
And well, we do lots of joint consults
Yeah.
and therapy sessions. There's like, then on the flip side to all of the banter that we get from physios, we'll say about physios, you know, it's all good that you can walk, but will you walk down the hallway naked?
I don't get it.
because they help you
get
like
dressed.
learn how to get dressed.
You know, so it's all well and good that you can walk, but you're going to walk around naked. That's just some of the-
Good one. I'm kidding.
Fucking savage with this bitch.
I'm kidding.
I thought I was just going to get razzed for not going to uni. It's just the two fucking going head to head in
Oh
instead.
my god.
We're at it. I knew this would come up.
I didn't think this early on, but
She was giving me shit last week. I can't remember what we were talking about.
You called me a basket weaver.
Oh, shut up.
I don't get it.
That's just like what they were called. At
We
uni, we used to call them basket weavers because no one knew what
Oh,
they
'cause they're
did.
crafts?
Yeah, and arts and crafts.
But also,
And then she was teasing me for having all my sensory toys. I was like, fuck you.
That got personal.
I suggested that I could make her a basket.
Yeah, I
to
said
put
you
them
can weave me a
into.
basket to put them in.
Oh, very good.
Anyway.
That's wonderful. Okay, you two are assholes.
But
Very
we will
good.
help you no matter what. Health professionals.
Yes,
Yeah.
help
Loving and
the
kind.
public, but to each other, got it. There's a gang war that that the public don't know about.
I think
Understood.
OTs would work more, not always, but general sense would work more in like a community setting, whereas physio, you're more likely to engage for most people in like a private practice and then would refer out to an OT.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're going home and you don't have like a ramp and you're now in a
There's
wheelchair.
some of the
Like
more
the
distinct
OT.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Would
that
sort
makes
that
sense.
stuff.
Pressure cushion, seating options. Yeah.
Very
Assistive
cool.
devices, grab rails, ramps.
Love it.
Yeah. All of those things.
Very cool. Do you like it?
Leave the wheelie walkers to the physios.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I love what I do. I haven't worked clinically now for a few years, so I've been working at the university here teaching mostly the first year students, which I do really enjoy that side of it as well. I think one day I'd like to return to working clinically, but for now this works really well.
Yep. Love it. That's very cool. And then, now that we know what you do, and we know
we
about,
think we know what we do.
yeah, I think.
Does anyone actually know? I don't know.
Now that you say it, I don't really know.
I'm more confused.
Week 2, come along to week 2.
I'll be there.
Maybe like, oh, I get it now.
I'll stand up and just start clapping. Yes. Now that we know that, let's move on to Contessa history.
Mm-hmm.
So you got here 19.
Yeah, early 2019.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what was it like coming from, because you had come from a few different gyms.
Yep.
How did you feel about your introduction here based on that, on not to do like a who's better.
Plug.
Not doing that. But yeah, just curious. I
Yeah.
always love talking to people who've been to different gyms
Yeah.
and things like that.
So I had a friend who had come here. So I trained with Renee before at CrossFit Gladstone. So when I knew that she was living here on the coast, I said, where are you training? I'd seen a few of her Instagram videos or various things. So I knew that Contessa existed. But I was able to just ask her some more of those questions as to why I should join or what she thought, which was great. So my biggest anxiety was probably around there was no boys here.
Yes, I remember this now.
Yeah, which I just didn't know what to expect. I think a few of the members have spoken to this point as well. So that was a concern or something that was new to me because I'd always been in mixed sex gyms. But no, I think I sent in my, I don't know, a message to you.
Yep.
I do distinctly remember you called me back while I was doing orientation at the hospital. I just started my first day at the hospital and I had to call Mandy back because I had a missed call and I thought, oh, she's going to make me do some sort of beginner's CrossFit.
Does she know who
Yeah.
I am?
I've trained it. I was so worried I'd be put into the beginners, I don't know what. But no, that wasn't the case at all. And I joined and started straight away. A little change in circumstances that probably led me away from even worrying about the new gym I'd joined because I fell pregnant quite early on. So that was more of a, oh, can I even still do CrossFit? I went into that mode straight away, freaked out. I'm pregnant. Well, my life is over. I'm changing. Everything's happening.
So how pregnant were you when you joined?
I don't think I was quite pregnant yet, or if I was, it was very early.
I think
didn't
did
quite
you
know.
join pregnant? No? Oh,
No.
it must have been very soon after.
And I had
Because
think
I
let,
met you when
Yeah.
you were pregnant.
Yeah, I let the
Like pregnant,
coaches
pregnant.
know.
Yeah, you
That-
were like only a couple of weeks. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
and I just had
Yeah.
to tell somebody that I was still crossfitting and pregnant. I didn't know what I know now, particularly. I don't think I hadn't been around gyms where there were pregnant women. Maybe that was it. Now that I think about that out loud, in the mixed sex gyms that I'd been at, I don't remember seeing pregnant women. And I had a comp coming up, and I was like, "Can I still do the
that's
comp?"
right. I remember that.
Yeah, I was
Yep,
really
yep, yep.
worried. And then, so that was Bronte's pregnancy, and she was born at the end of 2019.
Now she's doing CrossFit
Gosh,
Kids.
She's been for a few years now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under
Jacko's
Becky.
in. Jacko's in as well.
Full circle.
Yep.
Who
The whole
fucks
fam- actually, the whole fam's
We got
in.
Bronte, we got Jacko. we had a second pregnancy in there.
Yep, Jack was born end of 2021. Yep. I think very different experiences in terms of training through pregnancies with both of them, just because I was probably still finding my feet, new gym, new town with Bronte's journey. I probably was at a different fitness level as well. And then, didn't have to ask, can I keep training for Jack's pregnancy? That's for sure. I was here. Yeah.
Yeah, you were good. And Ben, your husband, always worked away?
Yeah, yep. So Ben's FIFO, he's a fitter and turner and he works 2 weeks away, 2 weeks home at the moment. Even prior, he's been doing that job now for a couple of years, but prior to that he still worked away doing like shutdown type work. Yeah, so fairly used to that lifestyle.
And throughout both pregnancies, did you work? Did you continue working?
Yeah, yep. Bronte, I worked and then I got the job at the uni, so I actually returned to work quite quickly after Bronte's birth, and that was COVID years, so early 2020. I got the job at the uni, knew I couldn't turn it down, so I thought it was permanent part-time, really wanted to be in that space and thought that would be good for us, so I took the job. Ben was at that time on some leave at home, and then COVID hit and he didn't go to work anyway, and so that was a quick turnaround, and I felt like that wasn't the right thing. It wasn't what I had maybe planned, but it's where it fell. And I also distinctly remember, Mandy, you were one of the only people that said to me, good on you, when I said I'm back at work. I got a little bit of, maybe, oh, you're back at work, you're back at work so soon.
Yeah, already.
Those sorts of messages from a lot of people.
People message you that.
Like messaging, in conversations.
okay.
Yeah, and probably messages as well. You don't know how you do it, you're back at work already.
Yeah.
Those sorts of that way of talking. But yeah, Mandy, you in particular definitely said to me, oh, good on you. And I think that was the day that I stopped kind of going, oh yeah, I'm back at work now. Or like head down. I wasn't proud of it. And I wouldn't
How many
change
weeks
it.
after? Do you remember?
Bronte was born at end of October, and we would have started teaching in the semester in February.
Yeah.
So I was doing bits and pieces over that January, February period. I don't even know how many weeks postpartum I was when I interviewed for the job. Don't quite remember that. So I was pretty sleep deprived. I know I got a parking fine because I didn't pay for parking at the uni. And we had to put together a presentation, and I've got no idea what I spoke about.
Like, must have been good.
Must
Get
have
the job.
worked.
Yeah.
Something happened. So I got the job, and I'm still there. And it's a bit of a joke now because they all didn't know how early postpartum I was, either the panel who interviewed me and those sorts of things. So they're all my great colleagues now, and they know the story. And they,
Just straight adrenaline got you through.
must have been a bit of
Sleep
caffeine. I don't
deprivation.
know. But it's funny how things work out because, COVID then did hit. Ben didn't have a lot of work on, and it worked quite nicely. I got to stay at home actually and work from home.
Yeah, nice.
And he was home as well to help look after Bronte.
It's not the first time I've heard someone say like that, something similar to that, based on what I've said to them after they've gone back to work, or even just acknowledging. I've had people join the gym, and then I say, "What do you do for a job?" And like when I already know that they've got a kid or a baby, and they're like, "Thank you for asking that," because so many people just because they're on maternity leave or they're like off work, they just feel like they're just a mum.
Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
anymore.
and no one gives a fuck about like who they were before.
sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah.
It's shit. Like, and if you want to be just a mum, that's okay too. But for people who have careers and they're just having a little bit of time off, or they do want to go back, like, do you, girl?
Yeah, and I think you've got to do what is potentially going to fit for you. I'd done a little bit of uni work before, and I had said, and I didn't manifest it or anything, but I had said, this would be a great job if I one day decided to have a family, and then it fell that way, and I'm a bit of a yes woman, and just give it a go and see if it's going to work.
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. What are your options? It either doesn't work or it does. And so, it was... I have quite fond memories of that year, 2020, actually. We went online. Contessa Online happened.
Oh my God, I forget about that until someone brings it up. I'm like, oh shit.
And I can remember, doing all of the challenges that kept us engaged and all of that. I was so here for it.
It was so good.
I
think
loved
Candice
it.
really thrived in those times.
I didn't have to see anybody.
No face to face. You did a few PTs.
Yeah. What did I even do? I don't even know.
Park. You went to the park near in Blah Blah.
That's right. Yep.
You did
Trained some
a few
people
PTs,
outside.
but you did a lot of. That's where like your online stuff really kicked off.
That's true, yes. And I remember we used to have staff meetings in the morning, and we'd all like FaceTime each other, and we just put those stupid filters on, and we just end up laughing. And I was like, okay, I've got to go to work now.
That
So I
was
was still at the clinic.
That was my main job. Those staff meetings was just that was my main job. I was like, all right, everyone have a great day.
My job is done.
Made everyone laugh for the day. I'm done here. Then I just go cry.
Go home and cry.
Pretty much. So you had fond memories. My memories are terrible, but it's fine.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think
I
I
wasn't
blocked
running a
that whole
business
time
during that time.
Oh,
It was nice just to
Jesus.
bunker down, to be able to do a bit of both, to work.
Especially with a new baby as well. That would be like that forced little bubble would be quite nice.
Yeah, and I think we can take away a lot of learnings, I think, about life and how we prioritise what we do and who we spend our time with. And then also I go to the technical side of things around teaching students and what we're able to adapt and be able to do during that time and still achieve the same goal. And there's those things that we did differently that are actually the better way to do it, but something forced us to do it that way. I'm not sure if you still have online team meetings, but they're great. Love a good online team meeting and things that can enhance productivity. And that's probably only further helped me to balance out that work, life, mum balance that I try to have.
That was my next question. So you have a husband who works away.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 2 young children. You work full time?
4 days a week.
4 days?
28, yeah.
And you're doing a lot of it on your own for half the year.
Yeah.
He's 2 and 2.
Yeah.
And you still manage to train.
Mm-hmm.
And you still manage to get better in the gym.
Try to.
How do you do it?
Oh, I think a lot of it comes down to with age and maturity, you learn again around that priority and who to prioritize and what to prioritize, and feeling better with saying no to things as well, and saying yes to what you want to say yes to. So yeah, having the the plan. You need to have a plan. You need to be scheduled, but then being okay with flexing in and out of that as you need to, so saying yes to things or no to things. But yeah, really a strict routine while Ben's away. I like to plan ahead. I look at my week and go, okay, what can I do? Look at the workouts and pick which 4 I'll do.
So your days do change based on, not even just based on what the workout
Yeah.
is, but you're not like locked into a schedule at the gym?
No, I'll look at I mostly on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'll sit down and I'll look at my work calendar, the kids and life calendar, and then the workouts and that calendar. But I'm getting better, I think, at then also just going, I can't do any other day but Wednesday, let's say, and it's a shit workout. I do 300 calories on the bike.
Hey.
300 calories on the bike with a
I
heavy ass
really
sandbag.
don't want to do 300 calories on the bike, but if I don't do Wednesdays, I won't get my 4 classes in, so that juggling. But that wasn't the old me. That's probably new me over the past couple of years, and knowing the benefits that any workout, whether it be what I class as a shit workout or not, has.
And I think
just doing it. And just do
a
it.
huge part of the training part of it for you would be you've been doing it for over 10 years. That's a long time. So I think, like you said, knowing that any workout is going to be a good workout. Like, and I've seen you're great at like walking in and going, it's been a fucking day, but I'm here. Just ignore me today. Like, you'll always say, just ignore me. Don't worry about me today. I'm just here. I just need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you prioritize the mental health side of things coming to the gym when you've had a fucking day.
And when Ben's away, it's as much as I might be working with students or working with my colleagues, it can either be isolating or you don't have those same relationships, or you choose those relationships that you want to have. So it's a social outing as well, more than the workouts. They're the days that I'll be like, I am just here for a chat, which
Which we
just
really?
Just
shut up.
shut up. And that's for me. And so it's choosing to do that for me, I think within reason. If the kids are having a terrible day, I'm not going to be an a-hole who drags my
Naughty.
kids to the gym and then interrupts the entire place and space. But equally, if I know the only thing that's going to fix me is taking those a-holes to the gym, I will.
Yeah.
And hope and pray for the best and see what happens.
I have a question around kids, because I know this is something that comes up when Manny does goal reviews in particular, just like talking to members. I know you will finish work and come to the gym and then pick the kids up from daycare often. I know a lot of mums really struggle with that mum guilt around that. Have you ever felt that? How do you deal with that? Because you're leaving then the kids at daycare. Like, you could pick them up at 3, but you've chosen to train, you'll pick them up at 5 or whatever it is.
No, I certainly felt that way initially. And I can remember when the class time changed from 3:30 till 4 o'clock. And it was all, for me, it was because of the kids we picked up later. It's half an hour. It makes no difference whatsoever. So I've certainly ridden that ride and that journey with that mum guilt. But they're okay. I think it's just practice. You just got to do it a few times. You just got to keep doing it. And then you realise, I'm better, they're better. We're going home and I'm going to be a better mum, or I'm going to be in a better mood. So if I think if anyone was having those thoughts, my advice would be just to give it a go, and you quickly realise that it's potentially the better way. Again, within reason. Maybe not 6 days, 5 days a week, but if there's a day that I know I need to prioritise me, I will do that. If I go, no, actually, I'm in a good space, and I do feel like I need to pick the kids up earlier today, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I think to expand on that, I think when Callie was in daycare and like same sort of thing, it's like for me, the thing that helped me was like quality time over quantity. Like everyone thinks they need to be with their kids the most amount of times that they can, like the most amount of time in a week that they can. But if you're yelling at them because you're shitty all the time because you haven't taken care of yourself, like what kind of quality time like even is that?
That's something you've always done so well, and like you like carve out that time with Callie, but then you'll also be like, I'm going for a run, and like even if that's on a Sunday, which is like family day or whatever, like I love that parents and mums now are talking about this stuff, because I feel like probably still our generation, but the generation before us definitely like never took time for themselves.
No,
and it was almost like, oh my gosh.
Do you want to answer that?
No, it's Josh. Go away.
Go away,
Never prioritize that.
Yeah, no, I don't have memories of my mum doing
Like leaving us to
anything.
do anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
No.
She was just our slave, essentially.
Yeah.
She was just there to cook for us, clean our clothes, and
Yeah.
just always be at home. She was always there. Sturdy Don.
And then if I really think about it, though, I think of the times that potentially my mum did do something like that, whether it was going for a walk with our neighbour or along those lines. Probably was a nicer person afterwards.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, yeah. And now I understand that relationship.
Yeah. And I said to someone only this week in a Go review, I'm really sorry, but you're not that important. Like, your kids, they're going to be okay for an extra hour without you. They're going to be okay. They're going to be
Do
fine.
they even notice? I don't
No,
even know.
they fucking love, most kids love daycare. They have a great time.
Yep, and I look at it and go, oh, you know, they don't go on Wednesday, so they're home on Wednesday. We've got the weekend. It's that balance of it all. Again, within reason.
Yeah.
I don't go, it's all about me, and I must train my 6 days a week, and I'm okay if at some weeks it's 3 days a week. I have a goal around 4 days a week at the moment, but before that I didn't even have a goal. It was just do what you can, get into the gym. You know, you feel better for doing it. You know, you enjoy doing it. But I think sometimes if you set the expectation either too high or too low, there's got to be this balance in between.
So you'd
that's
say you'd have,
achievable.
so preparation, being okay with it, and having that lower limit. So your lower limit is 4 days a week. So that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's your goal.
Yeah.
So that's like that's the number I want to hit. So do you think that's beneficial, having that in the back of your head?
Yeah, but then not to beat yourself up if you only make it 3 times that week.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's some things you cannot control. You might not have got a lot of sleep. You might have sick children. And I think if you let those things beat yourself up, then you're also maybe, you know, a bad mum, or you're in a bad mindset because you're like, oh, I didn't get to go to the gym because the kids were sick.
Fuck kids.
Yeah. And then the fingers come out. Yeah. I think it's being kind to yourself in all of the variations of what might happen.
How did you get to that though? Like saying all of that makes so much sense, but like, how does someone get to that point?
I think it is a lot about just age, doing it. I don't know, being
Just
reflective.
time doing the same thing.
Yeah, being surrounded by people who are in a similar situation, I think helps as well.
Yeah, I think seeing women here do that so well most of the time as well is like, oh, like my kid's crying, but it's fine. Everyone else is crying.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Candace
Yeah.
is crying. I'm crying. We're all crying.
We're all crying.
And then I think it's just that, you know, ability as a human to listen to what the advice might be, but to go, okay, maybe that's not going to work for me, and this is what will work for me instead.
So would you say that you did seek that out? Like, would you talk about it to other mums that, like early on, just to try and...
Yeah, I think so. And I think through here, because I didn't really have, I still don't maybe have that group that have those similar interests or that similar routine like some of us have here. So yeah, but I think I still just want to message that it's all individual to each family. You can't just say it works, because it might not work for some people.
Yeah. But talking it out and then maybe taking some bits on, maybe not.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Because it could be easy for me to sit here and say that it works perfectly every week, but it certainly doesn't. We've seen my kids headbutt each other in the kids area. We've seen mid-workout toilet runs.
We've seen mid-workout not make it to the toilet run.
Yeah, there's been a lot. So,
But like I said to you today, like when you rocked up for PT before this, you were late.
Yep.
You told me you were going to be late.
Yep.
You ate a sausage roll before you got here.
Thank you for airing that.
Yep, you're welcome. We're an open and honest podcast. But the thing I said to you was you still came.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. You still showed up, you still did the thing, even when the circumstances weren't perfect.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do wait for the perfect circumstances, or if they're not the way they foreseed it to happen. Is that a word? I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission. If they didn't see it like turning out that way, they'd just be like, nah, today's not my day. I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going to follow through with what I said I was going to, because it's not the way I saw it happen.
I think that would have been me.
Foresaw it.
Is that what you were going to say?
I was trying to figure out what.
I don't know.
No, I think that was certainly me. I reckon before kids, I do attribute a lot to actually becoming a mum. I think to learn that balance, to learn when to say no, when to say yes. I think, it gave me boundaries, it gave me parameters, it gave me a need to be so organised if I needed to. Before that, no, mostly single, you know, like, yeah. And could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted as such. So I'd be like, oh, it looks like it's going to rain today and there's running in the workout. Not going to go. Not going to go. So now I can't, if I didn't go, I might not get to do a workout at all that week. You know, I think it just, yeah.
Love it. That's very good.
Very mature. I like it.
It's very mature. She's 35.
I'm 35 now.
That makes sense.
Makes so much sense. Next on the list is food. Sausage rolls.
Speaking of that sausage roll at lunch.
Authentic.
Candice, I'll let you ask a question about the food. What do you got?
I kind of want to start it with the other question I've got on there, a bit about like body stuff, because you, for people who aren't watching the video, Kez is a smaller athlete, I would say, and always
Big heart though.
Working on that.
Big heart.
Always has been. Sorry. Does it bother you when people say that?
Oh, I think it's changing.
Yeah?
Probably when I was called a smaller athlete or for someone so small you can lift a lot, I used to be like, yeah, I can. Now I want to be a bigger athlete.
Yeah.
So we might get there with the questioning, but yeah, I think that's changing. So it doesn't bother me. Not the kind of person to let anything around
Image.
You know, you can't control what people will say.
Were you ever though? Because you, like in your notes you've written here, you're different to most people. Most people join a gym to lose weight. Most people join because they're overweight. A lot. Well, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of people do. You're different.
Probably circle all the way back though. If I go right back to
Sure.
2015, I'd just come back from 7 weeks in Europe.
Yeah.
And I had what we were describing as cheese boobs because we ate a lot of cheese and drank a lot of alcohol. And the weight for my body type apparently falls in that direction when I do gain some
So you
weight.
just get tits.
So I apparently, this was back then, before breastfeeding children. And so I joined CrossFit. I did join CrossFit to get fit after being in Europe
Okay.
for...
That's cool.
So if we circle right back, I
Then
think.
you did start in a similar situation.
Yeah, a friend who was in had cheese boobs as well. And so we...
Couple of cheese booby
She-
girls.
I've got like bad pictures of that
Is
in
it
my
like
head.
actual cheese as boobs?
Yeah, but like bad.
Like
Like
holy cheese?
like oozy cheese. I don't know. That's just what came into my
I
brain.
regret saying this now. So I don't want to... Yeah, I don't think I'm... Yeah. all that unsimilar, but it was still different.
Yeah.
It was still different. I wasn't going into...
But I've heard
to
it. I get
huge
offended
change.
when people say stuff
Yeah.
like in the past. Like not so much now because, you know, you're getting pretty jacked. But like people will say, you're so skinny.
Yeah.
Does that bother you? Did that ever bother you?
Again, I don't think it did until I started to learn, and it's funny, I have a 4-year degree in health. I learned something like a physio, apparently, about health and
Like a
fitness.
physio.
Like a physio. And I knew what good health was, but I think being potentially surrounded in this environment through Contessa, learning, and in some of my family life as well, learning the difficulties that people have with weight, let's say, or with health. And I would think, yes, I'm skinny, but I'm not healthy because I know what I put into my body. And there was the
Interesting.
cheese and the wine and all of that for a long time. So I think at first it was, I'm skinny and that's,
Yay.
yeah,
Yay
I
me.
can eat whatever I want. And that's not cool as you get older and you learn that what you're putting into your body, and as you need to fuel yourself as an athlete. That was probably the changing point for me. And I felt guilty that people were told they were not healthy because of the way they looked. And I was like, I know what some people in my family who are going on in this journey through. I know how hard they're working to be healthy. And yes, I go to the gym, but outside of that, I'm not doing anything else to look after the inside of my body.
When did you decide to change that?
Oh, I think, look, you know, we had the running jokes there for a fair few years too about the mid-workout snacks, and it was funny. It really was, but then it became a problem.
So Kez wouldn't eat all day, and then she'd get to the gym and be like, "Fuck, I'm hungry."
She'd have the most random things
And
in
she'd
her
just
mouth.
pull out like something from the bottom of her bag and
Probably
just start
cheese and
eating
dips
it.
for her
Yeah.
cheese boobs.
Just a little glass of wine or something.
no mid-workout wines, I promise. Or I'd be raiding the fridge downstairs. And I'd pay for it later. Yeah, just got to eat it. So I think it was a bubbling away problem for a very long time, beyond even the years of being here. And then I was getting better at CrossFit, let's say. I was, I don't know, improving.
She's like, yeah,
I don't know what was I?
Give me some validation.
I was doing something. I was improving, or I felt better. And then I made quarterfinals. And I thought, oh, actually, you could imagine if you did something more than just train and did this. And so there was that side of it. But also, I was seeing some of the habits that I have around skipping meals in the kids as well. So there was a distinct difference between when Ben was home, what they would do at breakfast time versus what they would do at breakfast time when it was just me at home, which was to skip that breakfast. So I think there was the two things combined around, okay, what could I actually be as an athlete if I did better in the pyramid thing?
Good job.
This is not on video. I keep doing all the hand signals.
Oh, she's taking the video down. That wouldn't have been funny for anybody.
Yeah. So that's where I got to. I think the two things kind of collided at the same time. And I also remember I had come down. There was a lifting workout. I feel like it was a squat snatch, and I videoed myself. I'm not really sure why, but glad I did. I watched it back that night, and I saw what I was feeling. I saw that I was hungry, and I couldn't lift the way that I wanted to lift that day. Saw that, I was small, and I didn't want to be small anymore. And so I messaged Candice. I didn't do it officially through an email because I thought if I wait till I've got to send the right email, I won't reach out. So I just Instagram messaged and said, I'm going to email you. And then once I'd made that kind of contact and that call, I knew I was locked in and she wasn't going to let me go from there.
She was very excited.
I was very excited.
You're waiting for me. I think you knew I was coming eventually.
Come around eventually.
You knew.
And I was very pessimistic.
Yeah, you were. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, tell me more.
So she told me that you messaged, and I was like, good fucking luck.
And then I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, because normally it's the other way around.
I'm going to do it.
Normally she's like, nah, that's not going to work. And I'm like, yeah, no, give him a go. Whereas I was like, good fucking luck.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, she's very...
You know why I knew that she was going to be fine?
Why?
Because the message you sent me was about that video. And it was
Oh,
like...
well, I didn't have the backstory. I didn't know.
I'll send you the video.
I always knew Kez is very compliant. I knew that she's she's awesome to coach. She's very on, but I also knew how busy her life was. I also knew how much she had going on, and I was like, I fucking hope so. But you won.
Well, you nearly won because then we went over. I think I had my first consult, and then we went over to Western Australia for that wedding, and we all got Giardia, and so I vomited and other things for about 2 weeks.
I was like, okay, so
straight,
we've lost 2 kilos. It's okay.
Started in a deficit, a significant deficit.
It's not your fault though, that one.
I didn't know if I'd come back after that.
I forgot about that. Funny. And so, because that message was so like...
so intrinsically motivated,
and people don't often have that
straight away. They're just like, nah,
I'm fat,
I'm
like
shit.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yours was so like, I don't
I'm
feel the
ready.
way I want to feel.
Yeah.
I look skinny. I look weak.
I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready, which is, I don't know why I had to be ready. Whereas other times I would be like, oh, just trial it out and see what happens and it'll be okay. But I think that commitment to eating, the financial cost, the accountability, I don't want to let somebody down if I didn't commit at the right time and not be able and fail. So I was pretty sure I wasn't going to let Candice or myself down. So I said yes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And so how long have you guys worked together? What did you do? What have we done?
I don't know how long we
done?
ended up working. Maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
maybe
I'd say
longer.
close
And
to
she was
4 or
so
5.
good. I knew
4.
after about 2 weeks, I was like, okay, she's in. Like you were good.
Yeah.
Like obviously after the holiday and the vomiting.
Yeah.
But after
We
that,
restarted. It was great.
Yeah.
It was like, we'll just restart.
Yeah.
It's fine. Let's
Start
forget
again Monday.
anything
It's
that happened. But I think one of the first things you got me to do was to write down what I was eating.
Yeah.
And you had to
You
just,
were shocked at what you were actually eating in a day.
Yeah, and then it's hard. I have a 4-year degree in health, and I knew what I should be doing. So I knew not eating breakfast wasn't a great thing, but it was such a habitual, it goes right back to my childhood. And so then I couldn't not write something in that box. Even though I technically started and I was meant to be authentic with what I was eating, I couldn't not let Candace read that I wasn't eating breakfast. So I'd eat something. So we've still worked on that because it wasn't quite right or enough. But yeah, so from day one, I saw changes in me because I had to show someone what I was doing.
Yeah, and then from there it was just like making you eat because you didn't eat. If you got busy or you just be, oh, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
doesn't matter, I'll eat a dinner.
Yeah.
Just like trying to keep that consistent.
Yeah.
I think the coolest thing, like, and you ended up putting on, how many kilos do you reckon?
I think we're getting close to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm holding that now.
Big girl, which is awesome. And such hard work. Like people who are overweight would look at someone who is trying to put on weight and be like, oh, it's so easy. Like you just have to eat more. But like that's hard work when you're
Yeah.
not wired that way. It's really hard to force that in.
Yeah. And it's still, I knew we'd talk about it today, but I still feel like a bit of a wanker, like sitting here saying, oh, I do to put on weight. So
Yeah.
people have such the opposite, journey.
Just the same as parenting, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's so individual.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Everyone has their own little
and
beasts.
like I said at the start, I think, or start of this part is like, yes, most people do have the other way. Like they want to lose weight. Like most Australians are overweight or obese, so most people do need to lose weight. There's not many that come here to gain weight, but it's so individual, and it would still be like it's just as valid of a struggle.
Yeah. And just as hard, I would argue as well.
Yeah, I think so. And the fear of what I thought it was going to be. And I've been sending Candace a few of Bailey Martin's.
Yeah.
He's been trying to gain weight and he's just been sharing what he eats in a day. And it's just obviously to the extreme when he's an athlete. But it's exactly what I thought I'd be doing, drinking so many litres of milk and eating eggs at every meal. So I didn't want another reason for not signing up. That was like, I do not want to be eating eggs for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
It's a random
and
thought.
so much
I
food.
don't want eggs all the time.
I don't really like eggs.
You must eat eggs.
You get to the gym, Candace is here with an eggs. Get it in.
Or baking heaps of stuff. Oh, she's going to cook all this
That's
food. I hate
crazy.
cooking. I'm going to be given these recipes I have to follow. And it was so the opposite to what I actually thought. Again, for someone who has, I one day thought I was going to do a nutrition course myself, and become someone who could talk to people about this. I've worked with dietitians before, but what I thought it would look like for me versus what it was, so different.
What about for you? Because you wouldn't have many clients like this either.
No.
Was it hard for you?
No. I really liked it because it, like, for me, it just took it right back to, like, the simple stuff, like,
Breakfast, bitch.
yeah, eating every couple of hours, making sure you've got an idea of where your next meal is coming from.
So
If
it's
you ha-
similar in that it's just habits.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same
Yeah.
for someone losing as it is for gaining. It's just habits and instilling good rituals in their day.
Yeah, and I think they struggle with the same things, and it literally comes down to that, just being prepared and planning ahead just a little bit.
And I remember seeing something, maybe you sent it to Candace, she passed it on, I don't know. The breakfast thing was a hit with the kids. That was a big win for you, was
Yeah.
having that, like, good influence on your kids with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the day I don't was Bronte or Jack or both of them wanted a smoothie, and that's been my new staple breakfast, a very loaded smoothie. And so the kids asked for one, and I was like, "This just happened."
It's working.
Yeah.
So
Tone
cool.
down the protein in theirs.
Now start on the gain train now.
Bronte and Jack in the gym. So that was really cool. Yeah, and I think that improvement's there for them as well. Or they're just seeing mum actually eat something or breakfast or whatever it might be, and they'll ask me about it. They don't ask for a smoothie every day. They're not like, they still have rice bubbles and or twisties. Jack wanted the other day. I was like, no, you can't have twisties for breakfast, Jack. But I can like even saying that out loud, what my mum went through with me, because I wouldn't eat breakfast. So she would let me eat whatever. She would like, just eat something.
anything,
So I probably ate twisties for breakfast. And then I think it's the whole cycle. I don't know what my mum ate for breakfast. So I think I was seeing all of that and thought, I don't want that to happen. So,
That's very cool.
and then alongside that, I'm a quarterfinal athlete now. Better do something. That 1 year.
Now it's
all
gone.
changed again. Who knows? Could be back next year.
Should've
I
bought
think
the
we'll
shirt.
be moving forward. I reckon it's all going to be based on levels. I'm a level blah
Oh,
blah
okay.
athlete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because apparently level 8 for the community cup is going to be quarterfinal level.
Okay.
There you go.
You can still say it if you want to.
So if you make a level 8, just
say
just
it.
say it's
I will.
quarterfinals. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What else?
That's all I had. That's all I had for you.
Yeah, and I think the wheels do fall off again. I don't want to sit here and preach that I have this perfect. I did have a sausage roll from the Palmwoods Bakery
Was it
for lunch
delicious?
today. It was delicious. There's a lot of crumbs in my car as I madly drove in for PT eating a sausage roll. So, but those days that those wheels fall off are far less. That would have been a pretty standard day prior to engaging Candace's help. And then as I was driving, I was like, you idiot, though. You could have eaten during that meeting that you were in. I had a DCU meal in the fridge. All I had to do was put it in the microwave. And eat it.
Lessons
So,
though, right?
yeah.
You realize that after, and then hopefully in the future you're gonna be able to implement that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And so that's still, and we're nearly 12 months since I did probably the intensive coaching, and I'm still learning some of those things, or having days where it falls apart, but I know what to do to go back.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. You don't just let that fall apart turn into like everything falling apart. You just be like, oh, well, what's the next best thing I can do?
A sausage roll and come to PT.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
the wheels were not perfectly turning, but you still came and
Yeah.
you still did the thing, and you still did beautiful bar muscle ups today.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, sausage roll field.
So, yep.
Hey, maybe it's
Maybe
you're
it's a
onto
thing.
something.
I mean, they're very delicious. Just you're right. You can't eat them in the car.
Yeah.
Far
it's
too crummy.
Very messy.
I must go.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's wrap this bitch up.
All right.
Bright spot, go.
Oh fuck.
Do you want me to go?
Yep.
Also, you have one?
All the birthday love. Yep.
Oh, birthday. It
Had a
was your
birthday. Lots
birthday.
of love. Yep.
Yeah.
Always, very appreciative of hearing from lots of different people.
And enjoy. Yes.
And celebrating the February girls, yeah.
3 in this room.
Yeah.
December. Fuck you guys. Mine is my ankle is getting better.
I'm so glad.
The workout today, because
Yes.
I was able to do hang squat cleans with my sore ankle.
Good job.
Thank you.
I cannot think of anything, but I had a great time looking after Izzy this morning.
Yeah.
Made me very happy.
That was cute. That was very helpful.
Yeah,
She's a fun little girl.
She had the best cuddle. She normally is like, sometimes I like you, sometimes I don't, but today I got her.
Got her.
I got
It
her.
was very sweet.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
It's okay.
For
Thanks
coming
Kaz.
on.
Thank you.
And keep on eating well.
Thank you. I will.
And I hope you stay on the sausage rolls. And hopefully that sheds a little bit of insight into how you can make it work when you have everything going on.
Yeah. And the mum stuff, like I think that'll be super helpful for people.
Yeah, I hope
Hopefully.
so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to chat about how I do,
She loves a
things,
chat.
if you
Just,
want, have a
ask
chat.
her.
Can you
But
just talk to her after
Mid-workout.
class?
No, do it during the brief.
After class.
Do it at the whiteboard.
But you don't have to do it as I say. Make it work for you. There you go. That's my
Yes.
final note.
Love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.